Balloon Beats.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Unhinged Live. I'm your host, Brandon Kramer, here with the legend, Para Fontos. Pat has the night off. How are you doing, Para?
I'm good, man. For the Yankees, not unfortunately. They had a 5-1 lead, but honestly, it's spring training. These games don't matter. It's just good to see guys like Gleyber Torres and Giancarlo Stanton go back-to-back. It's good.
Yep.
But before we get into tonight's game, let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat tonight.
We got Daniel, Bright, KG, Dirt Bike Nation, Lori, Jake. I believe this is Julio. Yes. Leanna, how is everyone doing? Almost forgot. We got Christopher, and then we got CJ. How is, first of all, chat, hope you all are doing well and staying safe. I guess we'll just start off into just quickly going over the game so far. So Yankees got out to a 5-0 lead, and with home runs from Stanton, Gleyber Torres back-to-back, as Paris stated. And then the bullpen without Chapman looked amazing. I actually tweeted out, I was like, everyone's going to overreact when he would come in throwing low 90s, but he came in throwing upper 90s with a really good splitter with great control. Then Justin Wilson came in, and not the best first showing for him as a Yankee. There was an error that could have probably gotten him out of the inning, but then he gave up a grand slam to, I believe it was Brian Goodwin. So not the greatest showing, but
I mean, I won't hate on Justin Wilson for it because don't forget he did come into camp late because he was coming in from Texas, so it took a couple minutes. But I mean, but it was his first showing. It's like honestly, you can't hate on him because look at Deivi Garcia. Garcia's first run in spring training, he didn't do so well, but in his second run, he did pretty well. So I'm not going to criticize Justin Wilson in spring training. Like, the guy's getting it loose, but honestly, a lot of the questions I've been seeing in the chat tonight is, can we sign Shane Green? Can we sign David Robertson? What are we going to do to replace Zach Britton? Because he's going to be out 3 to 4 months. So, yeah, it's tough to go because the Yankees have a lot of depth in their AAA system. The taxi squad, they signed a couple of relief pitchers, but I honestly don't see them going after David Robertson or Shane Green. I think they're going to keep it within the system and see how it goes because Zach Britton's one of the big key pieces to our bullpen. So what do you think, Brandon?
I mean, there's no way we're going to be able to replace Zach Britton. We're just going to hope to get someone that can at least be serviceable. I mean, Zach Britton at times we trusted him more than Chapman. So hopefully with this, he comes back sooner. He is a reliever, so it's not like he's going to have to be built up to like 100 pitches. But we're going to have to see. We had some showings of some other pitchers today. I mean, Herman looked great before we even get into the relievers. Herman looked, I mean, as I said, separate his off-field stuff. He looked really good today. O'Day looked really good. I've always loved watching Darren O'Day pitch because the swings he gets are just comical. I think he got 2 sword swings, I think I counted. But I do want to bring up this comment from Leanna. I think Chapman with a new pitch can be more elite. I mean, that's always what we've been saying with Chapman is it's no secret. As he gets older, He's not throwing 106 anymore. I think he's averaging now 98, 99, 100. So the slider he already started implementing in 2019, I think officially. That's when he really started throwing it a lot. And now with that splitter,
it'll
be a lot better.
He needs a lot of other pitches other than his fastball, because I don't want to ruin everybody's night, but going back to the ALCS where he threw the hanging slider against Altuve, even though Altuve knew it was coming, he needs to work on his control and he needs to work with his aim. So with this new pitch, I hope it works out, because honestly, we need an elite Chapman this year. We need him to keep us going, because the Yankees bullpen at times, we went from a dominant bullpen to a bullpen with a lot of question marks, and that's the sad part. So honestly, I'm praying the best for everybody.
I just want to pull up this comment. Sawyer, no.
Oh my God.
No, we like I guess we can't afford that. Like I like knowing that when the ball's hit to third base, it's not going to be thrown 50 feet into the air.
Guys, we have dealt with over 100 injuries in the last 3 years, and the fact that you wanted one of our elite defenders to get hurt so you can see Miggy Two Bags come back. I don't even want Miguel Andujar on this team this year. Let him start off in AAA, because the guy, he tore his labrum. He tried coming back, tried playing through it. He couldn't. He got surgery. And then he came back last year, and everybody saw him hit a home run against Garrett Cole in their warm-up games. And what happened to Miguel Andujar during the rest of the season? The guy needs to figure out how to hit the ball. He needs to figure out how to play. Because look at it. He's at the third baseman, but they put him in left field. We all
remember.
That was a classic time.
Oh, God, that game was against the Red Sox? Was it against the Red Sox when he let the ball go by him?
Oh, my God. He was probably taking his 2-step forward.
he was about to double clutch the ball, take it out of his glove. I mean, that's the thing, is like, you have Gio. Don't get me wrong. The good thing is that Andujar has an option, so if he can build himself back up and maybe be good for trade value, that'll be great, because there's no question he's a great bat. I think if there was a universal DH this year, his value would be even more, because then you're not limited to trading him to an AL team. But back to the topic you brought up before about relievers who could replace Britton. So this one right here by Daniel, if it wants to show.
Well, it looks like Brandon is froze. So going back to the Nick Nelson or even Medina, I think Nick Nelson realistically is going to be...
We're back. Sorry, a little bit of an internet issue. We're good, but what were you saying? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Nick Nelson feels like the more ideal situation to be in the Yankees bullpen, because he does have he's very familiar pitching with the Yankees in their bullpen. So honestly, it's just hard, because every time somebody gets hurt and we have these guys come in, half the time people are like, who are these guys? And that's the sad part. So, but there's one guy that I saw in one in the comment section, Latug. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's looked great. He has looked really good. He's a lefty, if I'm correct, right?
I believe so. But let me just double check. But honestly, he hasn't pitched since 2015.
Yeah.
So honestly, he deserves this time, and I hope he makes the roster. But there's a lot of guys I hope make this roster over certain guys, especially offense and the bullpen. I hope Jay Bruce makes the roster. I hope Derek Dietrich makes the roster. So I hope
we got a lot of options. I think, as you said, Nick Nelson has looked really good this spring, and I think he's going to be the kind of like long reliever that we're going to need. I think also we're going to have a thing where with the rotation, you're going to have Cole, of course, Tyone, Kluber, then Montgomery, and then you have the fifth spot is either going to be Domingo Germán or Deivi Garcia. Whoever doesn't make it, I truly believe, put them in the pen. I think Domingo Germán would suit better in the pen than, let's say, a Deivi Garcia, because you don't want to. The Yankees have issues of putting starters in the bullpen and kind of messing them up, Jonathan Loaizaga. But I think Domingo Germán out of the pen could be a like 2-3 inning guy. I mean, he has great swing and miss stuff. We saw that today.
Yeah,
like his curveball is no joke. But But back to relievers. Leanna says Adam Warren or Nick Nelson. I would go Nick Nelson because Adam Warren is coming off of Tommy John, so I don't know what he's Sawyer. What are we doing? You hate Gio. His defense is great, but his bat is not. Let's go ahead and pull up the 2021 or 2020 stats.
Swainer, Gio has averaged a 290 or average or better in the last 2 years he's been with the Yankees. He was one of the biggest clutch spots in 2019. A guy that the Yankees acquired, I believe it was $250,000 or $500,000.
No, I think it was $25,000 if I'm not mistaken.
For that amount of money, the Yankees acquired him. When Andujar got hurt, I don't hope anybody gets hurt, but it was a blessing in disguise because Gio came up and he took over, and he is our third baseman. There's no denying that. There's no criticizing that. You have to respect the work Gio Urshela put in because he played for the Indians. He played for the Blue Jays, and everybody passed up on him.
Yeah. They always said to him that he was just a defender or just like a guy with a good glove. But I mean, yeah, he was also hurt. Like he had that bone chip in his elbow for almost the entire 2020 season. So, and once in the playoffs, like his defense is great, but also with Miguel Andujar, since he's come back from his labrum surgery, he hasn't looked like he's as strong as he was before. And with Gio, he's very disciplined at the plate, and it's just the kind of thing where is Gio probably going to be as good as Miguel Andujar's potential as a hitter? Who knows? But when you look at the defense, like Miguel Andujar was a liability. Like they in 2018, we literally had to have someone replace him every time. That's how bad he was.
See, the thing is with Miguel Andujar is we thought we're going to have our franchise third baseman in 2018 when he came up. He got robbed the Rookie of the Year, but if he didn't tear his label, we would have never heard of Gio Urshela. And that's the sad part. Because the Yankees we're realizing in the last couple of years, the Yankees have a lot of great players in their farm system who can live up to their potential. But like I said with Gio Urshela, he's a blessing in disguise because just look at him, man. In 2019, he went off. He batted what, 298, and he had over 25.
He batted over 300, and if he didn't get hurt, he probably would have won the batting title.
That is very
because he would have qualified, which would have been crazy. They didn't think about that. We would have had back-to-back batting title winners. But yeah, that's the thing is, it sucks what happened to Andujar, but we also have to remember there were some holes in his game. Like his defense was, I literally remember this game specifically, what they called the Boston Massacre. Chapman comes in, ground ball to Andujar. He rushes the throw, and then Boston ends up walking off on us. But hey, I think the best thing right now is if you can get him to really get his at-bats in AAA and use him as trade bait come July. Yeah. And he's a major league bat. It's going to be hard, though, because if you want to trade him to an NL team, let's say the Reds are interested in him for a Castillo trade, you're going to have to think about, hey, are they going to plan on putting him as a DH, like planning for the universal DH to be in baseball next year? You don't know that because with the expiring CBA, who knows what's going to happen?
I think MLB passed up a great opportunity having the universal DH for this season. Honestly, I would have got rid of the 7-inning doubleheader and implied the universal DH because honestly, if you're going to have fans in all around baseball this year, nobody's going to want to pay for 2 7-inning doubleheaders. You want to give people their money's worth.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think they should start Andujar in AAA. Let him get him a couple of reps, just play third base, get his batting reps in there. And then if potentially down the line, if God forbid something happens in that Yankees lineup, you can bring him up and then possibly trade him at the end of July. So it's going to be it's just going to be a long question marks.
And CJ just says, Chirino said just got hit on the hand. Yeah, I'm watching it on my phone. For people that are watching the game, if anything happens that we can talk about, feel free, just bring it up because we can't have the game on in the back. But yeah, if Chirinos is hurt, I mean, I will say this. So there were 2 balls today during the games that I thought were gone off the bat. Mike Ford and Robinson Chirinos. It's also weird looking at Robinson Chirinos without like that full beard he had in Houston. But yeah, Yeah, I'm just seeing stuff that's probably bad. I want to bring up Bright's comment. He says, our 2019 squad was great, even with all the injuries. We had Maben, Urshela, Encarnacion, Topman forward. Yeah, I will say the Encarnacion trade was the craziest trade because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it actually just says Trinos is now out of the game, so that's not good.
It's probably precautionary, honestly. They're going to probably do an MRI on his hand, see if there's any fractures or anything.
We should just get an MRI machine in the actual like clubhouse in New York. We're going to need that.
But going back to that 2019 squad, it was basically we had over 40 injuries. It was one of those next man up stuff type of stuff, and a lot of these guys we never heard of, like Talkman, Ford, nobody heard of, and they all played a decent role, making us to the playoffs. But there's one thing I would say: if the Yankees started Giancarlo Stanton at DH, they would have beat Houston. And if Sanchez and Encarnacion didn't get hurt towards the end of the season, we would have won the World Series.
I mean, I do remember that game in Detroit. Gary decided to steal on his own. We're like, you're a catcher. You have a history of groin injuries. Just don't steal. Leave that to.
And you just came off a groin injury, and you're trying to steal. So
like there are some players on the Yankees that I don't care. Like if it's a ground ball, easy ground out, don't run hard. Stanton gets a pass. Judge will always run hard. Gary, as long as they can stay healthy, we're fine. This is true. Every time I look at Chirinos, I'm like, wait, who are you?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions going on in the chat about what happened to Luke Voigt's knee. I didn't get a chance to see what happened.
There's something wrong with Luke Voigt's knee?
I don't know.
The chat's a couple of times. Wait, let me look this up. I haven't seen anything about Luke Voigt's knee. But I guess we'll go ahead and look this up. I don't see anything. Yeah. So my guess is guess he's probably fine. Oh, what's up, Nelson? Hey, Unhinged is reaching everyone.
Puerto Rico. Well, I always wanted to go to Puerto Rico.
Yes, I've always wanted to go there. One of my favorite moments was, what year was it when the Indians played? Was it the Blue Jays in Puerto Rico?
I think it was it.
And then he hit that. I think it was a grand slam. It was
either 2018 or 2019, and then Francisco Lindor hit that home run to right field, right?
Yeah, right field. It just got over. Wrong one. They're saying he got scratched, but he's good. Yeah, my guess is all kind of wear and tear. Hopefully, as long as it's not with Voit, we know as long as it's not bad, he can play through it.
Yeah.
But if this might be controversial to say, but if there is a position the Yankees have depth at that they can, in a way, kind of withstand an injury, it's first base, because I don't like going into, let's say Voit gets hurt, but let's say something happens and he's not ready for opening day. That opens up a spot for either Jay Bruce or Derek Dietrich. We have those two guys there that can help really kind of take hold of it. And those are some good bats as well. We have a lot of Luke Voits on our team. He did great last year, but we have a lot of Luke Voits. Pat has said this a lot. If there's one player the Yankees could withstand losing, it's Voit, because you got players like that. They're saying it was knee soreness.
All right, not bad. Honestly, Voigt's going to be okay. It's like he doesn't need to play any of these spring training games. Just he's going to take a couple bat reps during warm-ups, but let's see.
Someone says, what's wrong with Frazier? Frazier's fine. He still is not building good relationships with the wall, as he said. But they said he's fine. It's funny. He says he wants to stay away from the walls, but then you see he goes head first into the wall.
Yeah.
I think it was more arm, so I think he'll be good. But hopefully, I just honestly bubble wrap the entire team at this point. I
don't even think bubble wrap's going to help them.
Put them full on football gear. Now that doesn't even work either. All right. Trey. Trey Ambergy, Unhinged interview. He's up at bat. Hopefully. Do the Yankees play tomorrow? Is the question. And if so,
I think they do.
They do. Oh, Cole's pitching tomorrow. It's on. So we can. If you have MLB.TV, you can watch it. It's Cole versus Aaron Nola. That's gonna be. They both have a 9 ERA. So someone asked, is Dietrich have a good time making the team? So it's really going to be tough, because what I think that Dietrich has on his side, and I think you would have said the same, the man can play practically everywhere but short. I mean, if Dietrich could play short, we wouldn't even be talking about can he make the team, because he would. But he can play first, third, second, left, right, everywhere.
Yeah.
And he can
But
hit.
realistically, if I were to go into the season with my 4 bench guys, it would be Gardy, Higashioka, Bruce, and Dietrich. Because a couple weeks ago, me and Pat discussed that about the Gio Urshela playing short. So if you wanted to play Dietrich, you can have LeMahieu play third. No, I mean Dietrich play third. You have Gio play short. You have DJ at second, and you have Voit at first. Because if you can rotate Urshela with Torres, so if you want to give Torres, it's not going to kill you to. Yeah, it's not going to kill you to play Gio at short just to give the young guy a break. But honestly, the Yankees would be better off with Dietrich. Like, I know he's struggled in the last couple of years and he had his good moments, but the guy so far is getting along with a lot of these guys. So especially Clint. Him and Clint are going. They're trying to see who has the most swag on the team. So
that's the thing. With Gio, I mean, we've seen him play short during a shift. I remember the play against Tampa in 2020. That play where he ranged up the middle of the field, spun and fired, and got Kevin Kiermaier out. Like, that's when I started saying, okay, wait a minute, he can play short. That would make it a lot easier, because don't get me wrong, I hate Tyler Wade with a burning passion. Because first of all, the entire Yankee fan base, one section of it, thinks he's the greatest player. The man can't hit. Even after meeting with Albert Pujols, got worse. He thinks he's a power hitter. I mean, if Tyler Wade could hit 240, 250, we'd be talking about something, because he's got great speed. Don't get me wrong. He's really fast, but he can't hit. So I would rather have a lefty bat that actually is a good hitter. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like Derek Dietrich is going to hit 300s. Like, if he can hit 240 but be a power threat, then we're talking.
I feel like with the Yankees, if they were to expect to get more out of a player, it would be Derek Dietrich, because the sad thing I see is Wade making it is because now they're going to initiate that 9th inning rule. Like, if it goes into extra innings, the runner on second. They're probably going to put him on second, and they're going to expect him to score every time. But realistically, if you want to win a game and you want to back up third baseman, second baseman, outfielder, Derek Dietrich's your guy. So I would love to see Dietrich, but the reality is I see Tyler Wade making it.
That's the sad part. I mean, we'll see. We did look at the options, and Tyler Wade does have an option, so you can get away with Laurie, I would 100% agree. The Yankees are also notorious for producing quadruple A players. It's sad, but like, slap hitters are not really making the team much, or really making in baseball much. Benji says, what about Allen and Trinos? So I think if Trinos, as long as he's not hurt right now, I think he'll be the taxi squad catcher.
Yeah.
With Allen, thank God they DFA'd him, and he agreed to a minor league assignment, so he'll be in the minor leagues. I think if there is an issue with with any injuries to our outfield, then Greg Allen would be in consideration. But Allen is more like a defender, like a really good defender with speed. He's not really like a great hitter. I would take, honestly, Tautman right now over Greg Allen, just because we've at least seen stuff from Tautman. Don't get me wrong, I love Greg Allen. Switch hitter as well, but
he'll start off in AAA, right?
I believe so. They'll start him off in AAA. Maybe they'll put him on the taxi squad, but I'm not sure, because since they outrighted him, I think he's off the 40-man. So I kind of forgot how it goes with the 40-man and the taxi squad.
Yeah.
So Sean is the one that kidnapped Pat again. So we don't know when he will be released. We did see Torres and Stanton went back to back, and for Stanton, it was like an outside changeup that he pulled, and then Torres got an inside fastball and crushed it, which is good to see. They were talking about him and he says he gets a cheat day now once every 3 weeks, and he even when he has his cheat days, he doesn't even feel good, so he just doesn't have any cheat days. So it's good to see him taking it seriously, because we need Gleyber Torres. Daniel says, yeah, people do. The fun fact is, I think he's only a 1/10 of a foot per second faster than Brett Gardner. It's also crazy that Brett Gardner hasn't really lost that much of a step, but like, I guess just because, I don't know why, but if you want a pinch runner, you get Terrence Gore, who we had once, or Billy Hamilton. I remember we signed Terrence Gore. I wrote an article on him. I'm like, hey, in the playoffs, we're just gonna like implement the Royals strategy of just stealing bases, but it never happened.
What's his name? Is
Billy
Billy Hamilton? Is he signed?
I think he signed with another team. I know he signed. Not the Mets. No, he was on the Mets.
He signed with the Royals. Did he sign with the Royals?
No, that he used to play. He played for the Royals in 2019. But I know he signed for a team. Oh yes, Swainer brings up a great point. Mike Topman has no options. Yankees love him to look decent in spring training. I do think he'll make it. I think he'll be that. With him and Gardy would be the backup outfielder. So I think that last bench spot is gonna be the one to decide either Bruce or Dietrich. But I think with just the way Derek Dietrich has been talking, I would not be surprised if, let's say, Bruce makes it and Dietrich agrees to be on the taxi squad.
Yeah. Billy Hamilton currently plays for the Cleveland Indians.
That's what it was. Oh, God, that's going to be annoying when we face them. What about Yankee legend Joe Park? I know, there was one Yankee that one of my friends loves. Who was it? Ghost K. Kato, who actually played again. He plays for the Marlins now because every former Yankee minor leaguer goes to the Marlins now. But yeah, Bruce has been raking. He's a veteran hitter. Down year last year.
What is it? A week from now or 2 weeks? Like I said, if you don't see him opt out of his deal on March 25th, you know for a fact he's making this team.
Yeah. And I think he's putting in a great case to make the team.
I hope so. Well, let's see
what else do we got. Do you guys think Gary Sanchez can carry over the production he's having in spring training? So I actually did look up. It was a video that Trevor Plouffe did that kind of detailed stuff. So last year, I actually started watching some film on Gary Sanchez, and we all noticed. You've said this as well, Per. Is his leg kick while it's really big, it's kind of vital for him, but he always was getting it down too late. And what I've noticed this year is he's getting it down a little bit earlier. And that's giving him, like, you think of time as maybe giving him like 0.2 of a second longer, but for a hitter, that's really important. He's getting that leg down quicker, and he needs the leg kick to get kind of his momentum going. But if he's going to continue this approach, because the swing was never the issue, it was just the leg kick. He was getting it down too late, but he's looked great today. He got fooled on a pitch today and lined it to left.
I mean, with Gary Sanchez, I think the main issue with him last year, he was overthinking everything. Because honestly, when he made that quote back in December saying he didn't know why he was benched in the playoffs, I honestly think he knows why, but he doesn't want to admit it. Because for the fact that he realized that Garrett Cole wanted Kyle Higashioka to be his personal catcher and Gary barely played in the playoffs, I think he really thought about him, and he had like a mentor tell him, you need to get your act together. You need to stop overthinking things. You're a great player. You just need to work on your stuff, and you'll be. That's why I feel like he went to the Dominican leagues, because honestly, he has a lot. Is he Dominican?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he met up with family down there. He met up with like his old coaches, and they basically told him, "We know what you're capable of. So you need to get your stuff together. Stop overthinking." And I feel like Gary took that mentality. And look at Judge. He came out and said Gary has the potential to win AL MVP this year.
Said that too. I mean, that's the thing. They said right after the season, he started working with Marcus Timms and our assistant hitting coach and working on that. He went to the Dominican League, as you said, probably also to see family, but to also get those reps in. While you might not have seen the production pay out, it takes a while, but he was putting in that work of getting those swing timing down and everything. So I do believe that Gary Sanchez is going to because we saw it in the first half of 2019. Dude was on fire, even when everyone kind of got hurt, and then he got hurt.
The problem with Gary is whenever he gets into a hot stretch, he always has a cold month.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I believe, I forget what year it was. I think it was 2018.
Oh,
he was hot in the beginning, and then once August reached around and the groin injuries came, you saw sluggish Gary. So honestly, he just needs to take a better approach this season, because I hate having that skeptical belief that once you have a hot spring training, you're going to have a hot season, because that's not the case. We saw with Greg Bird. We saw with Didi. Didi had a hot, wasn't really hot, but it was like decent. But when he came into April,
was it? Because in 2018, he was on fire in April, but then he had the worst slump I have ever seen.
Yeah. So what was it? He hit 4 or 5 home runs straight.
Oh no, I think he had like 11 or 12 home runs in the month of April, and then couldn't get a hit for like 10 games.
Oh, that's baseball for you.
So bringing back some comments. Suarez guaranteed Bruce will opt out. I mean, if he gets a bench spot, wait, he's only 32.
Yeah.
I thought he was a lot older. I think if he gets a bench spot, he's going to play on a team because, as he said, he joined the Yankees because he wants to win. If he is a bench bat, he'll play because then you'll know especially with how the Yankees are going to probably go into the season, giving some guys some days off because I think they have a kind of a light first month. He'll be good. So Benji says Boone said anyone could be the closer. That's just for the first 2 games because because Chapman's going to be suspended opening day. And I think the first 2 games or did it get put down to 1?
I think it's just 1.
Well, either way, hopefully the Yankees on opening day just score 10 runs. And don't need a closer, but Chad Green can be in closer. Darren O'Day can be a closer.
Yeah.
Justin Wilson can be a closer. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Don't put Justin Wilson.
Don't put Justin Wilson.
Justin Wilson realistically is a 5 or 6 inning guy. So.
Yeah, Justin Wilson was awful tonight. I think it was just, as Paris said, he came in late. So give him some time to get his feet wet. There was also an error that could have probably ended the inning. But we'll see. Someone says, John says, it was the issue from Brasso from last year. It's just because he appealed the suspension. It was moved to the beginning of this year. So, but I mean, it's 2 games, so hopefully we don't need him at first. But we got the depth in the bullpen. I mean, who knows? Chad Green could go the 8th inning and the 9th inning.
That is very true. Honestly, we know what Chad Green's capable of. So honestly, if he needs to be the closer and O'Day can be your 8th inning guy.
I've always liked Darren O'Day. He's just so weird to hit. I mean, you just saw the swings. He doesn't throw hard.
I love that. The last time I believe I saw a Yankee sidearm was Mike Myers back in 2007.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I believe that is the last one. I don't remember much.
I mean, was Ottavino really a sidearm pitcher?
I would say more 3/4.
Yeah.
Like Darren O'Day is like a submarine, true sidearm pitcher. Ottavino's more 3/4.
But O'Day's like the full deal.
Yeah, O'Day's the real deal when it comes to sidearmers. So Benji also asked who. So we detailed this before. I think Debbie will make it or Herman, but I would not not thinking about it. Maybe they're going to go a 6-man. They could go a 6-man.
Honestly, going into the season, my predictions for the starting rotation is going to be Cole, Kluber, Tyone, Montgomery, and then Herman. I think Garcia's going to come out of the bullpen. So, I mean, I would love to see Debbie get the 5th spot, but honestly, they could experiment what they did with Severino, have him come out of the bullpen, and then make his stride into the rotation. So, because honestly, you don't know what the season holds. You don't know what you're going to expect in one game down the line. So, honestly, I think that's going to be your starting 5. And then when Severino comes in, hopefully Severino should go into the bullpen. He should be in the rotation.
Yeah, I think they'll start him. They'll start him slow because they signed him to a long-term deal. So you want to think of Severino. He's like their baby. They're not going to rush him. They're going to take their time with him. They got their like gold ace in Cole, but then they have their baby, which is their pitcher that they want to bring up and have him take his time. So Sevy, they got him long-term, so there's no real need to rush him. But with the results of him maybe starting to throw in May or June or be back around then, we were all thinking August. Yeah. So that's a lot better.
I mean, don't rush him back because you gave him an extension. You had the shoulder problem. You had this Tommy John problem. So honestly, just don't rush him back. As long as he's back for the playoffs, that's all that matters.
So I don't think Andrew Miller was sidearm. Andrew Miller was also 3/4. He just threw a weird slider.
But the thing with Andrew Miller, he never had a wind-up pitch.
No, he always threw straight from the stretch.
Yep.
And I still, to this day, will say the ball to Ortiz that people freak out about that he called the strike. it was a cross-up. So that's why I think the ump called it a strike. Still, nothing beats seeing David Ortiz be extremely frustrated after a strikeout. So this is when you're paying Cole what he makes. They want him to pitch every fifth day. Yeah, I was just saying I could see the Yankees potentially implementing that in the beginning of the season to potentially, because you're going to have a young rotation with some question marks as well, guys that have been injured. So if you can ease an inning count limit on some people, then yeah, I just think maybe every once in a while you could throw in like on an off day, instead of doing a bullpen game, just throw out a fifth starter or a sixth starter.
I see a question asking about Clark Schmidt. Honestly, I think Clark Schmidt's shut down. He's going to be shut down for the beginning of the season because he had a hyperextended elbow, I believe.
Yeah, pretty much what O'Day said is that he decided to come into camp and throw full speed, full strength, and he got himself hurt.
Because O'Day convinced him to do it.
I think O'Day taught him, hey, this is why you don't throw full speed. But I mean, the fact that Schmidt was also throwing 97, but I mean, with the timeline of what it was, is you can expect him to most likely be ready for opening day in the minor leagues, which is in May. But there was another question. This person, Swainer says, I think Chapman signed D-Rob Green. And Debbie starts in Nate. Well, yeah, I think that'd be a good one. I don't see them signing David Robertson.
David Robertson's gonna want more than $5 million.
Yeah,
or even more than $10 million. He's trying to bet on this.
I don't think, coming off of Tommy John, I don't see that. I would say like more of like a deal maybe with some incentives that can get him up to that level, but I wouldn't see that much. Sevy and Britton both back after All-Star game. Yeah, that's the big thing about Severino potentially being back earlier than we all expected, because now if he was coming back in August, you would not have time to get him in starting pitching kind of build up for the postseason. But now if he comes back earlier, you then have like 2-3 months to fully build him up. Is he going to be the same? No. Usually in 2022, he'll most likely be the same. And I'm no doctor, but that's what we see from everybody. Jordan Montgomery came back end of 2019, was not good. He struggled, comes back in 2020, and first half season was good, middle awful, and then in the playoffs he was actually good.
I have major respect for Montgomery from that performance he had in the playoffs against the Rays, so I'm not criticizing.
That was Montgomery showing what he can truly do when he has everything working. He throws that sinker, great curve and everything. So if we can get that Montgomery every fifth day, I'll be extremely happy. Yeah, we don't really have money to really sign anyone else.
And then also between everybody in the chat, we don't need to fight. We're a big family here. Unhinged community. Let's not fight. So
and game over, and the Yankees have won, which is great. They've won 6-5 after almost blowing it, which is great to see. So Ben, this is actually a good question. Mike King starts some games. I think that'll be interesting. I mean, Mike King, I think he actually used one. So he actually just closed this game out, and according to At Bat, he's been touching 98 on the gun. I mean, if you can get that from Mike King and put him in the bullpen,
why not?
That's another weapon, because a 98 mile an hour sinker versus a 94 mile an hour sinker is different. And Mike King throws across his body.
Was he part of the taxi squad last year? Or was he?
No, he was on our team.
All right. I honestly forgot he was even on the team.
Yeah, no, because there were some games where, like, if we did openers and stuff or kind of throwaway games, he would be the guy that kind of came in. So yeah, so I think that's maybe all we really have for tonight. Oh wait, we do. Before I forget, because the chat will kill me, we have to have our meditation, because we have to just sit here and meditate and just think of the Yankees winning the World Series.
So World Series, no injuries, and everybody plays to perfection.
See, didn't forget any of the meditation.
So, now that we did our meditation, before we go, just make sure to follow us, subscribe to us, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Just get the word out. If you want to show your friends our videos, go ahead and show them. We would appreciate it. We're trying to get to, I believe, 2,000 subscribers.
2,000 subscribers.
So
hopefully,
honestly,
we passed 1,000 already.
So we appreciate every week when you guys come out, join the chat, watch us. So that's Brandon Kramer. I'm Baraskevax and Fontos. Have a great night, everyone.
Take care, everyone.